Are the rumors true? Is selling on Amazon just another low-wage job? Does it come close to minimum wage? Well, there are so many videos on this matter across YouTube, and I wanted to give you my experience after selling on Amazon for 5 years. Firstly, this wouldn't be a YouTube video if I didn't ask you to smash the like button, and if you haven't already subscribed and you're new here, my name is Shimmy Morris. I make videos on making money online, Amazon, print on demand, all those kind of things. So smash that subscribe button as well. Well, let's start with this. If you're in the UK, the minimum wage, if you're over 25, is £8.72. If you're 21 to 24, it's £8.20, which is 50p up, which is brilliant. And if you're in America, the minimum federal wage is $7.25 an hour. So now that we've got those bases to go on, let's have a look. The next thing we need to realize is working for yourself is hard to quantify an hourly rate, as you'll soon find yourself working at random times, not working at all. I planned this video whilst sitting on a ship, so it's really hard to work out unless you're really meticulous about logging your times. So let's just quickly discuss the costs involved in having an Amazon FBA business. You have the Amazon FBA account, you have fulfillment fees, you have selling fees, inventory costs, import fees, shipping costs, storage fees, and potential ad costs. I know that sounds like a ridiculous amount of costs, but don't worry. I'm gonna explain it in a bit more detail, but I just want you to realize having a 9-to-5 job doesn't mean you have no costs either. Vicky Robin, who explains this theory in Your Money or Your Life, about just because having a job doesn't mean you have no expenses toward that job. And she explains it really, really well. So I highly recommend this book, by the way, just to understand money in your life. Because having a 9-to-5 job means you could have travel costs, work lunches, drinks with colleagues, travel time, and I know it can be hard to quantify these costs, but they have to be taken into account when you're working out your hourly wage. If it takes you an hour to get to work and an hour to get back from work, that's 2 extra hours a day that you are kind of technically working because you're doing something solely for your 9-to-5 job. So all of these things also have to be factored in when you're considering a 9-to-5. Let's break down the cost of selling on Amazon using a hypothetical scenario. We're going to be using the calculator we built ourselves, which by the way, you can download for free. The link is in the description. It's a brilliant calculator. So let's head over to the computer, input some costs, and see how much profit we're making, how much our hourly wage ends up being. So for this hypothetical scenario, we're going to use a set of resistant bands. We can sell this item for around £24.99 and still be very relevant. So let's input that into our profit calculator. The next thing we have to do is find that product on Alibaba where we can source it for a much cheaper price. We can see they sell for around $2 to $8 per set. So we're going to say that we can get it for around $5, which is a nice middle ground. So that's around £3.50. Again, when doing the research, we'd actually contact suppliers, negotiate prices, and make sure it's all concrete. Next is shipping. This is really hard to work out as I haven't contacted the seller, but luckily I have my own set of resistant bands here. So I'm going to weigh them and I'll go off the price I pay for my product, which is $6.50 per kilo for shipping from China to the UK by air. So for shipping, we're going to put £2 into this Amazon FBA calculator, which should give us a more accurate profit margin. Next, we have a poly bag, which is one of those little plastic bags that everything needs to go into when being shipped to Amazon. Then there's packaging, so maybe a fancy carry bag or something. Then customs for importing, then the Amazon fee, and then the fulfillment fee. And finally, we've allowed £1 per item for ad cost. Meaning if we run ads and it costs £1 to sell one item, then this is what the numbers would look like. But because we have such a high profit, there's room for the ad spend to actually increase if we need to do that. Now that we have all the costs in place, we can clearly see a profit per item of £10.85, which is absolutely awesome. And that means this order is worth £3,255 in profit. And by the way, this calculator is totally free to download. The link is in the description. We built it ourselves for people who want to sell on Amazon or who are already selling on Amazon. So if you want to get this calculator, the link is in the description. Now that we have all of these costs, we can kind of work out our hourly wage. I'm going to base this off of how much me and my brother work on our Amazon business right at the beginning. At the beginning, I was working a lot on it. I mean, a lot. More than a 9 to 5, which is very normal when starting a business. When creating something new, you're going to be working around the clock to make sure it works. So I fully agree, it's way worse than minimum wage, especially when you're starting, because you're basically getting paid nothing and you're working around the clock. But again, that's just a business. That's starting a business. That's normal. The thing is, you have got to see it through, and that's when it starts to make its money back. Now I spend probably around 2 hours, even less maybe, a week working on this Amazon FBA business. So I can guarantee you it's way more than minimum wage at this current point in time. And the best part is, if we want to increase money even more, all we have to do is simply add another product. And because we have all the knowledge and we know how to do it and we have all the infrastructure set in place to create more products, we can add another entire product and just double or triple or quadruple that kind of wage we're getting. Oh, and let's just quickly have a look. On average, people are selling resistant bands at around 750 a month. And remember, we only need to sell 300 to earn 3,255 in profit. So if we did work on the business in a 9 to 5 fashion, 5 days a week, we'd work 160 hours in a month, meaning we'd be earning £20.34 an hour, or $27.42 an hour. And that's just selling 300 units. If we could get up to selling nearer the average, we could probably double that number. And just by the way, I'm not saying you should be selling resistant bands. That product is highly oversaturated and you'll really struggle to compete with the big boys in that market. But what I'm trying to explain here is, or illustrate, is that there are many products that you could sell and they are all very similar to this. You just have to find one that isn't as competitive. And I know finding a product can be difficult. It can take you a month, it can take you 2, it can take you 3 months. And that's the whole not being worth it at the beginning because it's so time consuming. But then as soon as it pays off, it's really, really good. So should you quit your 9 to 5 or should you just stuff it and get a 9 to 5 if you don't already have one? Well, truth be told, if you couldn't care less about creating a business, you wanted a bit more security, you wanted a bit more money at the beginning, then I would recommend a 9 to 5 job. I have nothing against 9 to 5 jobs. In fact, 99% of the people I know have 9 to 5 jobs, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're actually really good. Even though there's a ceiling, it can take you so long to reach it as well. If you're, getting a raise every year or every 2 years, it can take a long time to work your way up in the company. And that's what I don't like about having a 9 to 5 job. I just love that sense of freedom and knowing that I'm building something myself that hopefully one day I could then go and sell. But not everyone wants to do that, which is fine. So the answer is yes. Amazon FBA is more than minimum wage, but not right at the beginning. If you can stick it through and you can continue, trying to find that product and selling that product, and over time it will overtake minimum wage. So my advice would be this. If you want some security, especially when you're starting your Amazon business, make sure to have a 9 to 5 job and treat your Amazon business as just a side hustle. So maybe focus on it for 1 or 2 hours a day and keep your 9 to 5 because that is what's going to be paying you your money and your income, and that's really important, right? And then eventually when Amazon gets to a point where you don't need your 9 to 5 job anymore, right, then you can leave your 9 to 5 job. But again, you don't have to. You can continue your 9 to 5 and have your Amazon business and make even more money. But bear in mind, if your Amazon business is slowly overtaking your 9 to 5 job, if you quit your 9 to 5 job, you can go full overdrive into Amazon, start focusing on that for 8-9 hours a day, and that should seriously increase the amount of money and the amount of products that you have in that business. Personally, I probably would have done this if I wasn't living at home when I started my Amazon FBA business. I was very lucky and slightly entitled to be living at home rent-free when I started my Amazon FBA business. So I wasn't really worried about any costs or anything. I could just go all in and focus on it. I would 100% have found a 9 to 5 job just to subsidize the cost that my expenses every single month, and then slowly build up the Amazon FBA business. So I hope you like this video. I hope you realize Amazon FBA can be more than a minimum wage. I know at the beginning it may seem like it's not, especially if it takes you 1 or 2 or 3 months to find a product. It may feel like you're working for free, But eventually down the line, when you get to a point when you're selling consistently, you even have multiple products, it's going to be a lot better than minimum wage. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, to smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.